About 10-12 years ago, I started subramani.com, actually 2008, so this is the 12th year completed. So we are stepping into the 13th year, not exactly to the date, but yeah, now in the 13th year. And from then until today, people keep asking me, Subra, what is your goal of starting a blog and starting a vlog? Honestly, I have no goal. I seriously have no goal because I don't even know why I started. So there is that clarity is there that I don't know why I started. So people ask me, how will you monetize it? Again, I don't know why I started, so there is no way how I will know how I will monetize it. But one thing I can tell you, whenever I think of monetizing it, then I think, oh, if I give it to my friend, then he will see it and I will give it to him at say 200 rupees. But then his wife will also see it, his daughter will also see it, his son will also see it. So I'm getting only 50 rupees per head. So how do I charge? Do I charge per family? Do I charge per instrument, or how do I charge? Do I have the mechanism to write down all that, collect all that data and blah blah blah? Answer is maybe no. So then I have to create that infrastructure. My head goes into a spin when I think of commercializing this or making money out of this. Monetizing my blog and monetizing my vlog seem to be impossible. I'd rather make my money with my teaching and training. I will not try to make money doing recruitment. I will not try making money doing mentoring. I will not try making money doing coaching, because mentoring and coaching is something which I do regularly for free and over long periods of time, and I have no clue how to send the bill. I would rather do coaching or training for somebody and give a link to a charity and say, whatever you think fit, you pay. I'm unable to price those services. I'm able to price my training. And even there nowadays I say, how much are you paying? Other trainers pay me that much, instead of getting into an argument about rates and all, because I think I want to go beyond that, right? So a little bit of my background, I passed the CA final exam, I passed a few more exams in secretarial costing, and then I worked for 5-6 years as a law assistant, in the sense that I assisted a couple of big lawyers. And amazingly risky ventures which people had attempted, some in tax misadventures and all that. It was an amazing experience. I met the finest lawyers, including Ram Jethmalani, KK Venugopal, our great P. Chidambaram, and you name him, and we would have met Fali Nariman, right? So all these people in some context or the other, for some briefing or the other, Justice J.C. Shah. I mean, these numbers just keep coming. Mr. Patel, KK Desai, you just name it. You name the biggest lawyers and I would have briefed them in some matter or the other. And the kind of experience is amazing. One thing I learned, whether in law or anywhere, go to the best. They're worth the money. If you can afford it, go to the best. So go to the best dentist, go to the best health professional that you need in any field. Go to the best lawyer. You will at least know, he will not at least cheat you, he will not tie up with the other side and screw your happiness, right? So it's very important to go there. It's very important. When I told my dentist that I was introduced as the most, somebody told me, oh, you go to him, he's the most expensive dentist. So I said, it's nice to know that he's expensive instead of knowing that he does a bad job, right? So do you want to go to a dentist who is expensive or to a dentist who can damage your teeth? Be clear about that. You don't go to a dentist every day, so why not go to a place where you know you will get better service, right? So as simple as that. So money, yes, it is important, but trying to create money out of every attempt, every product that you make seems to be very difficult, and I am unable to monetize this. So I've been a chartered accountant, been a member at National Stock Exchange, been a lawyer. I've done a lot of financial planning for companies. I've tried pulling out a couple of companies completely in the abyss. I've tried putting rules, regulations. I've handled income tax raid cases. So I've done all that, and then of course I've done equity research. Largely that equity research was done to recover the cost of the CMI package and the ASA package which we had bought. They were expensive then, costing upwards of $1 lakh. I think the price has not changed much, but absolutely worthwhile package is the CMI package. with which we could do a lot of data analysis, so much so that CMI would ask us what more features do we want, because we were one of the biggest users. This was long back, we're talking of 1980s, when Microsoft Windows was not such a menace as it is now. So what are the advantages of being in the non-commercial space? Let's say in the amateur space. My blogging and all are in the amateur space. I am an expensive trainer, but absolutely worthwhile from the client point of view, so that's why they come back to me. So that's fine, I'm not talking about that. But when you're in this free kind of a model, you can pursue exactly what you want to say. You don't have to be worried as to what the client will think, what the reader will think. I don't care. I'm going to say this is the truth. If you don't like it, do your shopping elsewhere. I don't have to go to an SEO or a PR agency who will come and say, if you do this, your readership will increase or your ad revenue will increase. It doesn't matter. I don't have a business model by which I have to get more ads or I have to get more people to read. There are people who are offering and saying, we will give you 5,000 new likes, we will give you 10,000 new members. I don't want. I am not ever going to monetize it. If somebody comes and tells me, will you write this story, will you talk about this story, my answer is no. I will write about your shoe if it's a good shoe. I will not write about your shoe just because you're paying me money. I will write, and nobody will come to my blog to read about how great this cycle is. I'm an amateur cyclist. I'm not a professional cyclist. So nobody is going to come here to see what I do with my cycling or my running or my walking, right? But yes, I can always say, oh, this shoe brand is very great. But I've used Adidas, I've used you name it, and Nike and Puma, everything, right? So, and I have no reason to pick up one over the other. So I can't do a story saying why this is the best shoe ever, right? I can't, because I don't have a view on shoes like that. I have it on people, but I can't I have it on products. I've got it on insurance companies, I have on mutual funds, but I'm not the one who's going to tom about it anyway. I could keep saying that term insurance is the only sensible insurance, and I also know that the insurance industry will keep selling term insurance with return of premium. That's their problem. This is my problem, right? I can write about chartered accountants, doctors, and how bad they are at investing. I can write about IFAs, about mutual fund manufacturers, and I can call a spade a spade. For example, every IFA thinks he's a fund manager, and every fund manager thinks he should solve every client problem. Not true at all, right? I've been criticized, and but I have not taken off any post, right? And one company which asked my post be taken off from their website did it very reluctantly and said, but Subra, I think you should keep it on your blog. I kept it on my blog. I removed it from their site. I could write about other anonymous bloggers like mfcritic.blogspot.com, great blog, website, whatever you want to call it, right? I could write about them without worrying about anything else. If you are famous, it's not really very useful to be under far more scrutiny. Look at Deepika Padukone. She's being chased in her car in Goa. Have a heart, guys. She has had a problem in the past. She has told us about it. Don't chase her. Don't ruin her life. She's got a life ahead. She's young. She's a young kid. Let her live. Let Anushka Sharma live. Don't pull them down so much, right? I don't even get invited to bloggers meet. When I get invited, I turn it down, because I was told turning down will make you look arrogant, but going will make you look much worse. So I don't go to those meets. I write about fund managers, but I don't name them. I was offered credibility by writing for one insurance company on their blog. I said, if I have to add credibility to myself at this age by being on your blog, something is wrong with the reader, right? So that is another thing I've done. I've generally enjoyed my life, and I do think talking, writing, speaking about wealth is my ikigai, and that's how life is going to be, right? So that's it. Thank you.